A client just canceled your service and replaced it with AI. What do you do? The first thing I want to point out is it is 2026. The internet came out 20 years ago-ish, give or take. Is that true? 90? 2006? No, 30 years ago? Okay. There are still businesses that use paper. So the first thing I want to point out is I think it is very easy, especially when it feels so personal to you because it's your client. Like, it's not like you read about this online, right? Like, it happened to you. And so it's very easy to take an experience and then extrapolate it and go, this must be happening all over the world. And what's hard about that extrapolation is that on one hand, there is some truth to that. AI is certainly accelerating. But on the other hand, there are lots of counterpoints. Paper is a good counterpoint. And so the reason I say that is because when you're deciding to go in a new direction for your business, especially based on like a technological advancement, it's important to remember that that is not happening everywhere all at once right now. There is still a tremendous amount of opportunity. And B, there will still be, I remember watching this when like mobile development was a big thing or app development was a big thing. There will always be different pockets and different categories of customers. Some businesses are going to want to lean very hard in this direction and go, we want to pay someone like you to help us build the systems architecture. Other businesses are going to be more risk averse and they're going to go, no, like, yeah, sure, if you use AI, whatever, but we still would prefer a human doing this. And that's going to stay that way for at least the next 5 or 10 years. And so I think questions like this are more about, okay, there's this interesting opportunity. What do you want to do? Because I want to like just make sure that you understand this is not a question of this thing is happening. I either need to move in this new direction or I will not have any more LinkedIn ghostwriting clients. There's a gazillion people on planet Earth who need your service still. And so it's more, when I'm faced with decisions like this, I like asking myself and making the decision more from a place of what am I interested in doing? What do I want to do? Because both are viable, both can work, both will be lucrative, both will, you know what I mean? So is the decision for you like, this is cool, I want to learn and build some of these new skills. This seems like now's a good time to do that. I could experiment with this with a client. You know, if that's the case, then that's a right answer. But if it's more like, you know, Cole, I lost a client and that made me really afraid for the future of my business. And I feel like I need to say yes to this opportunity out of fear. That's the thing I would challenge and go, that's not true. I understand why that feels true, but that's not literally true.
Yeah. It's a little bit of both, if I'm honest. Like, it's definitely easy to take this and think, wow, you know, the sky is falling. Like, if I don't pivot now, everything will collapse in the next 3 months. So like, I don't want to lie, like that is definitely there, but it is interesting as an opportunity because I know like in my own business, there's so many inefficiencies and I'm like, if I could help clients fix some of these things in their own content operations, like that is really, really valuable. And, you know, I have been the past few months just really feeling like I'm on this AI, like not AI, content hamster wheel of just like constantly creating out new content. And it's been, yeah, I've been thinking like, is this what I want to be doing like for my life? Like, I'm not super happy with how it is now. And it's probably more, so it also is just true that like trying something new and shaking it up and just trialing a new service is interesting. And it feels like it could be something that's really valuable for a lot of people. So that's in there as well. So
yeah,
so it's a little bit of both.
That makes sense. The thing that I think is worth pointing out for you and for everyone, every time you get competent at something, you will feel that way. Like I started ghostwriting for execs. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then a year later, I was like, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? And then we started scaling the agency and I was like, oh, I'm building new skills. Like, cool. And then a year later, I was like, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? And then, we start Ship 30 and I'm like, that is the coolest thing ever. And then a year later, I'm like, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? Like, that cycle never goes away. And so the underlying skill to be aware of is knowing that novelty ends up being the perceived solution to that. Is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? What do? I go try something new. It's novel, it's fun. And then you repeat the loop, then it's cool again. Yeah. And then a year later, you're like, designing AI systems. Is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? Right? So that loop never goes away. And so the mistake is making those choices too early in the process, because then you deprive yourself of ever building competence anywhere, right? Yeah. And then the counterpoint is also true, right? It's like, well, if the world is changing in a direction that's exciting to you and you don't do that and you don't follow that, then that's like also an incorrect mistake. So this is what makes these decisions in business so subjective, is that it's not that there's necessarily a right or wrong answer. It's more being aware of the different variables that go into making the decision and asking yourself, am I making this decision out of true interest in this thing and I want to learn these new things and I want to move in this direction? Or am I making this decision out of, I'm bored, I'm going to chase novelty? Those are very different intentions behind the decision, And so, and also, like, part of the challenge of giving quote unquote business advice is how unbelievably dependent it is on each person's individual context. For most people, I would say, like, just focus on one thing and just do the one thing until you achieve competence at it and you achieve some sort of external result from it. But at the same time, which is also true, it's just conflicting, is I am also a big believer in, as you build competence in an area and your life is reasonably taken care of, like you have a LinkedIn ghostwriting business, great, your life is reasonably taken care of. I think that there's a lot of merit to blocking off 10 or 20% of your time to try new things, because the world is always changing and you kind of always want to be like, all right, I'm nimble no matter what happens. Like, I've always kind of got this new skill being built over here. The problem, and why I don't say that very often, is because most people already have a problem called, I'm trying to chase 5 things at once. Yeah. And so I'll say that to you, for everyone here, like, understand there's a big asterisk next to what I just said, but I don't think there's anything wrong with continuing to run your LinkedIn, like, to make it really prescriptive. What I would do is I would keep running your business. I would try and fill those client slots again. And I would give yourself permission with one of these clients to try this new thing and experiment. Yeah. And worst case scenario, you learn.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's nice is the client who asked for my help with this was like, basically said, worst case scenario, you decide this isn't for you. I say, this isn't maybe what we want to do long term. And like she kind of acknowledges this is a sort of trial for both of us. Yeah. So the stakes are pretty low. Okay, I think I'm just going to do it. And then maybe I'll come back to you after I do it and we can, I can think more about like what the next steps look like at that point. If it's something that actually, I enjoy, as you've said, and people seem to be getting value out of it.
Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, by the way, if you're brand new to the world of ghostwriting, maybe you've heard the term but aren't really sure what it is or how it's different from copywriting or content writing, check out premiumghostwritingblueprint.com. It's in the description below, okay? This is a free masterclass that I've put together for writers who want to monetize their skills and love for writing with ghostwriting. This is what I did, and ghostwriting completely changed my life. It's how I quit my job. It's how I quadrupled the amount of money I was making. It's how I've gotten to work with so many smart, amazing people, but also have time for my own writing, like writing this book, The Art and Business of Ghostwriting. Anyways, check it out. If you're at all interested in making money from your writing, I would really encourage you to get into ghostwriting. And this free premium ghostwriting blueprint in the description below is the best place to start.